I was just talking about CNES program. Right, so we can start off. Yeah, Professor Louis is not here. So first we'll have welcoming remarks from James Grabbert. He's the Director of Mitigation Division of UNFCCC. Thanks, James.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. And I certainly hope everyone is safe and from this incident. I hope everything is okay. Good morning, everyone. So I want to begin by thanking our partners who made this important conversation possible. That's the Institute for Carbon Neutrality at Tsinghua University and the Technology Review for Carbon Neutrality Journal. So dialogues like this, connecting researchers, policymakers, innovators, and industry leaders are becoming an essential infrastructure for the climate action that needs to happen. We are living through a historic transformation of the world's energy systems, as we all know. Achieving carbon neutrality is not an engineering challenge alone. It is a societal transformation that touches supply chains, labor markets, urban planning, digitalization, finance, governance, and much more. The shift we need requires thinking beyond the incremental improvements. It requires the ability to connect the technologies with policies, policies with investment, and investment with human needs, from clean and affordable energy to healthier cities and more resilient communities. When we speak about transforming energy systems, we are speaking about a structural shift related to redesigning those systems that were built for the 20th century so they can operate in the realities of the 21st century. That means electrification, large-scale renewable integration, grid flexibility, storage, digital intelligence, circularity, and new models of industrial production. A governance shift like this, which enables countries to anticipate change rather than simply respond to it, is key. This includes regulatory innovation, market design, standards, and using data and transparency to drive accountability and the investment that we need. And finally, a partnership shift. That recognizes that solutions scale when governments, innovators, communities, and the private sector work towards shared outcomes instead of isolated projects. Innovation is not only about the emerging technologies, however. It should also be about creating new pathways for cooperation, new financing architectures, and new mechanisms for matching global knowledge with the local opportunity. So this is exactly why the UNFCCC established a Global Innovation Hub to catalyze breakthrough innovation and bring together diverse perspectives from different locales and sectors. It serves as a connector, a convener, and a catalyst, helping to bridge the gap between ideas and implementation, between the laboratory and marketplace, between ambition and action. The decades ahead will be defined by how effectively we align ambition with implementation. The good news is that we already have many of the tools that are required. Renewable energy competitiveness, maturing carbon markets, digital technologies, nature-based solutions, and new models of blended finance. What we need now is coherence. Coherence across sectors, across geographies, and across levels of governance. And most importantly, the coherence between the solutions we invest in and the lived realities of the people on the ground. I hope today's dialogue helps illuminate not only what is possible, but what is necessary to ensure a just, ambitious, and actionable pathway to carbon neutrality. So thank you again to our partners and to all of you for your leadership and commitment. I look forward to the discussions today. Thank you.
So next, we'll welcome Professor Kebin He to deliver the welcoming remarks.
Distinguished guests, dear friends, good morning. Good to see you all again. Today, we are already deeply honored to co-host the session with the UN Climate Change Global Innovation Hub. Over past few years, we have built a very good relations with the Global Innovation Hub. So yesterday when I talk about the energy sector, we have the so-called impossible triangle. So if we want to solve this problem, I mentioned the 3I strategy: the innovation, interdisciplinary, and international. So the first choice is innovation. So the hub has actually promoted vision-driven systematic innovation around the world. And it has achieved remarkable expansion and impact in China. We found strong synergies with the hub in both in our value and the efforts in driving climate and sustainable innovations. We strongly commend its efforts, and we're looking forward to have closer cooperation with the hub in the future. Today, the session is focused on innovation for carbon neutrality and energy system transformation. It resonates with the new multilateral cooperation program initiated by Tsinghua University called CNEST. So probably you have heard several times in these 2 years, CNEST, which we briefly introduced yesterday, and we are trying to do this to build long-term working relations with the leading academic and industrial experts and innovators around the world, and jointly explore the key issues and solutions of energy system transformation. So the CNEST program is actually still the 3 years, the phase 1. So we are still working on that. So this remain with it's 3 years for phase 1. This is the 3rd year. So we still have 1 year remain. We love to have a broader discussion with our international experts and friends, and we want to share the key science question and identify potential solutions that deserve long-term international research collaboration, and we'd like to bring the interested partners on board to do this together. So today we have invited the best and active mind on this topic. We may explore innovation in multiple fields, such as the domestic and foreign policy, industrial, local community, research, and investments, as well as innovation ecosystem. So I hope that today's session will provoke our forward-looking strategic thinking on the innovations and collaborations needed. And we would welcome any idea and suggestions for the CNEST program. So many thanks for everyone coming. I hope forward to your thoughts and discussion. Thank you.
Many thanks for Professor He for sharing the vision and the framework of the CNEST program. And next, let's invite Chairman of the UK Climate Change Committee, Piers Forster, to share his thoughts on the success and the major lessons of UK carbon budget policy making. Professor Piers Forster also author to our journal. Yeah, welcome.
Do I have a thing to get into the slides? Anyone? Ah, cheers, Zoe. Okay. Oh, look at me on the screen. Good morning, everyone. It's really good to be here today, and I do really enjoy this collaboration with Tsinghua, and it's good to be here with brand new friends from kind of Brazil as well, just because I do think my big thing today is, this is the topic of my conversation, about we're obviously in very difficult, challenging geopolitical conditions currently, but I sort of want to give a sense of optimism that by working together, we can really make a significant difference to addressing the challenges of climate change. this is some brand new work that was published today by some colleagues, and I want to kind of talk you through this work to give you that sense of optimism. So if you look at the top line on the diagram, this just show where the world was going before the Paris Agreement was signed. But you can see we aren't going that direction anymore. The world had changed. We are investing in renewables. We are beginning to phase out coal, and that has really made a significant difference. So we have brought temperatures down from hitting 4 degrees to about 2.8 degrees just with current policies. So the world has already changed direction. And what I want to highlight then are the opportunities right at this COP decision today. So we are talking about kind of mitigation, like a doubling of energy efficiency, a tripling of renewables, and also action on kind of methane. And what our calculations tell us that if this COP conference would successfully deliver these, then we could end up with temperatures around 1.7 degrees. So that's not a perfect 1.5 degrees, but that gets damn close to that 1.5 degree target. So this was a stake here in PLM. And I absolutely truly believe that really by collaboration we can successfully shift the world in this direction. But I want to talk about briefly the role of our Climate Change Committee, because it was set up a long time ago, and it sets an overall kind of framework, and the whole kind of framework, was designed to cope with that political uncertainty of kind of changing politics, because the whole point is we set up advisors to set a carbon budget a relatively long time in advance to really give our governments that kind of longer term perspective. And this showed it worked. So since we had our carbon budget, we had really good political consensus on taking action, and that rate of decarbonisation in the UK did double when we had our carbon budget framework. But things are now kind of changing. For the first time in the UK, despite being one of the most successful countries, we are suddenly seeing some populist political objections. So I want to talk about really what worked at the committee, and then what are our biggest challenges. So what works is setting the budget a long time in advance to really drive that investment and to really give that political certainty, and that will work very well. But we are facing some challenges, and I think the really biggest thing we have to do is to try and make it relevant for the general population. You know, we do have to get the population in the UK to really understand why they have to change and why it will ultimately be good for them to do that. So in terms of the advice, we have really toned down the kind of policy prescriptiveness. And what this sort of does is to try and give the politicians some alternative options, so they don't necessarily have to take our advice. They can sort of change it a bit. And the other thing we bang on about is the economy. So this graph does really show a complicated analysis of the benefit of decarbonisation for the economy. There's an upfront cost to begin with, but then after upfront cost, we do really get that economic kind of benefit. I won't go into this, but this shows the change in the household bills for the consumers. So, for example, if you switch to a petrol and diesel car to a battery electric car in the UK, you save about $1,000 kind of annually. So this is what we want to communicate to the general public. The really last thing we did to give our advice, we convened this citizens' assembly to really try and understand the public perspective. And that has been really influential in trying to make sure that our advice does really stand well with the kind of politicians. So I just want to conclude by I really look forward to the discussion, and I hope we have kind of time for that, just because I just think by collaborating we can really kind of change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Piers, for your illuminating keynote. We have another important dear author, Masamba, who is a former head of a Global Innovation Hub, and he currently serves as a principal advisor on climate and sustainable innovations of the UN climate change. He is a rare visionary and strong advocate for systematic innovation. It's a pity he's in Shenzhen in China now, so let's watch his keynote by video.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, good morning to all of you, and good afternoon, good evening to those that are participating virtually. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to contribute to this very important session. System change requires a shift in the underlying dynamics of the Earth system. Traditional action related to climate focuses on single technology, isolated sector, incremental improvement. But climate neutrality and longer-term viability require changing the structure and feedback loop of the socio-ecological technological system of the Earth. A four-part framework including planetary intelligence, eco-augmentation, planetary coherence, and co-flourishing does exactly that. Planetary intelligence enables the system to sense, learn, and steer across scales. Eco-augmentation rebuilds and upgrades ecological systems, shifting biophysical feedbacks. Planetary coherence align institution, governance model, policies, financial instrument, business model, cooperative approach, product from the culture and creative industry, and technology system. Finally, co-flourishing supplies the motivational, cultural, and social foundation for long-term stability. The system is changed through the transformation of its information flows, feedback structure, alignment, and longer-term goal. Innovation is the mechanism through which these four dynamics become operational. Planetary intelligence requires advanced sensing, learning systems like AI, digital twin, and steering tools such as policy simulator, adaptive governance protocol. Without innovation, planetary intelligence cannot emerge as a planetary function. Eco-augmentation is inherently innovation-based because it transforms ecosystem through new intervention, including engineered wetlands, blue carbon augmentation, coral probiotics, fog harvesting vegetation system, microbiome engineering, regenerative ocean farming, climate adaptive agroforestry, bio-inspired coastal protection. It is not classical conservation. It integrates technological innovation with ecological innovation and shift the Earth system from degrading feedback to regenerative feedback. This is essential to reaching climate neutrality because natural system must act as net carbon sink and stabilizer. Innovation increases planetary coherence. It requires alignment across economic incentive, institutional rules, cultural norms, business model, cooperative approach, and technological infrastructure. Innovation will create new governance model, new coordination tool, new economic design, as well as new cooperative approach such as co-flourishing diplomacy. This is what creates the alignment infrastructure. Co-flourishing requires innovation to replace the product and services currently used to satisfy the core human needs but are generating too much negative externalities with alternative ones that are generating positive externalities and very limited negative externalities, more effective in satisfying the needs, more efficient, attractive, accessible, and scalable. This necessitates renewable energy access, clean water innovation, sustainable housing solution, new model for nutrition, livelihood, and access to product and services, including through
Thanks, Masamba, for the fascinating sharing. So on the behalf of Professor He, I'm gonna briefly introduce you our CNEST program. So we would love to get your feedbacks and the suggestions on the vision and the framework of the program. And so firstly, I want to also introduce a little bit on our newly established institute, ICON. It's established on 2021, just 1 year later when China announced the dual carbon goals, and it caught global attention, and also many important figures and scholars appeared on the inauguration ceremony. And so here is the structure of our ICON Institute. So Professor He serves as the dean of our ICON, which is serves in the central. So we have a management community and also international, strategic, and academic advisory community. And more importantly, we involve more than 10 schools and departments at Tsinghua and build 8 centers under it. So from the energy supply and the energy demand, and also system and governance. So here is the vision of ICON. So we hope it is a leading think center and also collaboration platform, and also communication platform, and also talent incubator. So so we can, most importantly, we hope it become a multidisciplinary innovation hub. And so here is a little bit of background of the CNEST program. For the third round NDC, although 8 countries have announced their NDC, but there's still a huge gap, which means it's still a challenge ahead to achieve the global net zero emission. And so we know the global net zero energy system will rely more on the renewable energy and zero carbon sources. So the ratio from fossil to non-fossil maybe will change from 8 to 2 to 2 to 8 in the future. And so there is a significant change on the paradigm, which we are transitioning from resource dependent to the technology dependent paradigm in the future. And more importantly, and to address the global challenge and the trilemma of, try to reach the energy system, green, secure, and economic, we need a kind of the balance of four flows, like carbon flow, material flow, and energy flow, use information technology. And so there is a clear consensus of to address this issue, not only from the specific low carbon technology innovation and also carbon monitoring. More and more importantly, there is going to be intellectual energy system approach. So here is a new report just launched last week at COP30. The Administrative Center for China's Agenda 21, they kind of have produced the technology system for carbon neutrality. We can see it's 4, 5 plus 1. And the one here is very important. It's the integration, coupling, and the optimization technology. So the AI information technology will play an important role to reach the carbon neutrality goals. So that's also the why we want to launch the CNEST program, try to address the trilemma future energy system transition. At the same time, we hope to combining scientists and engineering, also use information technology to combine carbon flux to energy system technology, from the supply to end use and the transmission and storage. So here is the general framework of our CNEST program. So basically, we need a new version of the energy system. To do this, we have 3 directions. One is the system theories. Secondly is the system technology. Thirdly is the most supporting technology and the digital twin system. And clearly, to achieve this goal, need interdisciplinary innovation. We need experts, scholars from different fields. And also we need a global cooperation. Here in June this year, we hold a CNEST forum, and many scholars participate in this forum. And also we also have an initiative call to build a global collaboration network, advanced scientific and technological innovation, and also cultivate the innovation ecosystem. I think this is the important goal of this CNEST program also. Lastly, the sharing of knowledge. So here we already have the more than 60 institutions and teams from nearly 30 countries have signed agreement with us. We hope, working with more and more partners and eventually building a collaboration ecosystem here. So this a little bit about the journal is also the same purpose. So we hope to its perspective and general features to support this CNEST program. And also we hope the audience would come from scientists, engineering, entrepreneurs, investors, and policymakers. So finally, we hope to build a strong collaboration with all of you through 4 aspects, like joint research, co-host forums, and also talent education, and also journal partnership. Yeah, thank you. As I said before, we really like your feedback and suggestion on this program. And if you have any contact, that's my email there. Thank you. So next, we're gonna have the, thank you. Next, we're gonna have a panel discussion. I will ask Zoe to take over. Zoe is the director of communications at ICON. She also a manager director of our journal, play a very critical role. Zoe, please.
So thanks, Professor Xi Lu. So next, let me invite our panelists, Professor Li Zheng, Dean of Institute of Climate Change and Sustainable Development at Tsinghua University, and Dr. Kira Vink, Head of Center for Climate and Foreign Policy at German Council on Foreign Relations. Please come on stage. And Dr. Max Jankman, Executive Manager, Heidelberg Center for the Environment at University of Heidelberg. Okay, so because time is limited, I'm so sorry that yesterday we were also in a rush. But today, just one question. So in terms of our CNS program, because we have a long-term plan, so I was wondering if you could propose anything that you think that's worth researching or for collaboration, either in terms of industry or policy for the next 10 years. Or Max, you want to go first?
Maybe I start.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a question I asked you yesterday. Yeah. So now I have a chance to answer by myself. So I take China example. I think for doing decarbonization, so energy system transition is the most important. And then for the near term, the longer term, the major force is renewable energy, wind, solar. So China is doing quite well in this topic and decrease cost greatly. However, the problem is how to maintain the stability of the power grid with high penetration of wind, solar is a variant. Fluctuating power sources, that's a challenge. So in the near term, we need flexible, firmly dispatchable, flexible power sources to help. So this is better needed. That's why, a lot of people are talking about the coal power in China. But however, the problem we need firmly dispatchable, flexible power. Currently, the most available stuff is coal power or gas power. But we need to develop power storage technologies that help in near term. Then the challenge for longer term is the so-called long-term energy storage technology that can shift renewable energy across season. So near term, we need to the stability of the power grid. For longer term, we need long duration power storage. I think that's one thing. And then another challenge, another technology we need for deeper decarbonization is the so-called hard to abate decarbonizing technologies. So that reflects in the high industry for steel, for cement production, for chemicals production, and high temperature heat is also a technology that cannot be merely provided by electricity or simply provided by electricity. And then in the high traffic, heavy transportation, so trucks, ships, and aviation, aircraft. So it's difficult to electrify. And then another hard-to-abate stuff is building. So in the northern, in the cold part. So here they don't need heating, but in China and in US, a lot of energy are spent for heating, and the energy demand is so vast that it is not cannot be simply solved. So heat pump is one solution, but we need to change to increase the efficiency greatly. So in China, we are doing the practice of cross-seasonal energy shift that can improve energy efficiency, COP of heat pump greatly. And then for even, I think another category of innovation is the so-called CDR, carbon removal technology. That means now a lot of people think that the overshoot is unavoidable. It's unavoidable. So we need the negative technologies, negative carbon emission technologies that we need to absorb more CO2 from the atmosphere to restabilize our temperature. So hopefully I should not talk too much.
Thank you so much. I think there's a lot of agreement probably here on the panel, and let me just make some short complementary points to what you have just described. So I think one is this challenge of grids, and Germany, the country where I come from, has been now very much confirming its engagement with the Green Grids Initiative, and also the pledge from the last COP to try to also share its knowledge, build capacities together with other countries in order to integrate more renewables into their grid. This is a key problem because globally we have, I think, around 3,000 gigawatts worth of renewable energy that are not yet connected to the grid, that are waiting there. Maybe there's no power line, maybe the grid is not able to handle the additional capacities. So I think this is one key area. And Germany has been able to integrate around 60% of its electricity production through renewable energy, and that's for us a big achievement that also came with some lessons learned, which may not be completely transferable, but may help some other countries to also improve their grids in order to be able to absorb this renewable capacity. And I know that China also has made tremendous progress in this, so maybe this is something we can also push forward together in different contracts, and especially also those countries that are trying to leapfrog the coal-fired development, so to say, that we can assist. The other one, I think, is exactly what you said regarding the industrial processes to promote more hydrogen economy, especially the production of green hydrogen, the development of electrolyzers. I think these are also very key to confront this issue of hard to abate sectors. And it's not only a technological challenge, it's also a challenge of how to create both the demand and supply at the same time. So this is something we have been struggling with, especially in our steel industry. And then the third one I want to mention is societal innovation. And here I can share maybe our lessons from our coal commission, where we set up a commission from different parts of the society, science, policy, so regional politicians, and also civil society, who came together to agree on a phase-out date for coal, so to build some sort of consensus around it. And as you can imagine, Germany being very reliant on coal, having many jobs in this area, has had a lot of difficulty to come to this conclusion of its coal phase-out. And in my opinion, it's too late, but at least it's a consensus and we have a date for which we then phase out. And this is something to then work towards together. So trying to promote societal innovation to increase the acceptance of these technologies, I think, is also key.
Yes, completely agree with what has been said. And I think it's also important to acknowledge all the good news that are happening. When we follow the media, it's very easy to get depressed and see what's not going well, but there have been so many great developments, especially when it comes to renewable energy development and the technological progress that has been made. When we look at the efficiency of photovoltaic, the affordability, the progress in storage technology, for example. So what you mentioned in the beginning is definitely where we need a lot more research and innovation, but it's also an area where a lot of development has been unlocked in all different sectors. And this is what I would add to what you have said. I agree with everything. Let's just look a bit more closer at the corporate level. You mentioned the societal level, we mentioned the technological level. The corporate level, it's also essential to not only understand how we can produce more renewable energy, but also how we can manage the demand in a more efficient way, because if we're looking at the technology that has also been mentioned, or is more an elephant in the room with AI, for example, there is such potential to foster sustainable development through AI, but if we're not being mindful of the efficiency that is required, then we will need massive amounts of energy. And we can use the AI to be smarter about the energy use, the heat that is produced, and reuse the heat for central heating, for example, has been mentioned. And then, of course, the incentive structures in the businesses to invest. And that's one of the challenges that we're facing, that we need massive amounts of investments to meet the goals that the international community, that the states set themselves, and we need to create structures to boost this effectively.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks to all our panelists. Sorry we're in a rush due to time limit. And thanks so much for everyone coming today for your great contribution. So we look forward to further cooperation in future.